Visualize the ancestral landscape of the Pleistocene. For thousands of years, your nervous system was tuned to a specific frequency, the frequency of survival. In this world, stress was a rare and violent event, a rustle in the tall grass, the shadow of a predator on the horizon. In those critical moments, your body initiated a masterpiece of biological engineering, the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, a lightning-fast chemical cascade. The hypothalamus signals the pituitary signals the adrenal glands, and then, the floodgates open. Adrenaline hits first, sharpening your senses. Then, cortisol follows, to sustain the energy. Glucose is dumped into your bloodstream for explosive movement. Your heart becomes a high-pressure pump. Digestion stops. Immune function is suspended. In the savannah, this lasted for 10 minutes. Either you escaped the lion, or you became the meal. Once the threat was gone, cortisol levels dropped. The body returned to homeostasis. But today, the savannah has been replaced by a digital cubicle. The lion has been replaced by a mortgage. By a notification. By a missed deadline. By the infinite scroll of a world that demands your attention 24/7. Your biology has not caught up to your technology. Your brain cannot distinguish between a physical threat and a psychological one. The result is a devastating biological leak. Chronic high cortisol. When cortisol stays high for weeks, months, or years, it becomes a neurotoxic acid. It begins a process called excitotoxicity. It floods your brain with calcium, causing neurons to fire until they burn out. Nowhere is this more visible than in the hippocampus. This is the center for memory, learning, and spatial navigation. Under the siege of chronic stress, the hippocampus literally begins to shrink. The physical volume of your brain's library decreases. This is why you feel like you are losing your edge. This is why you forget simple facts in meetings. This is why your ability to learn new skills has hit a brick wall. But the destruction doesn't stop there. High cortisol also hijacks the prefrontal cortex, the seat of your logic, the architect of your long-term vision. The prefrontal cortex is the CEO of your cognitive corporation. Cortisol effectively fires the CEO. With the CEO gone, the amygdala takes absolute power. The amygdala is the primitive lizard brain. It is the center of fear, aggression, and irrationality. In this state, you are no longer a high performer. You are a biological reactive machine. You are prone to outbursts. You are paralyzed by anxiety. You are constantly scanning for threats that don't exist. You feel wired but tired, exhausted at the cellular level, yet unable to find deep rest. This is the allostatic load, the cumulative wear and tear on the body and brain. It is the silent architect of professional and personal failure. You think you are lazy, you think you lack discipline. But the truth is, your hardware is being melted from the inside out. You cannot solve this with a new app or a better calendar. You must engage the biological emergency brake. You must learn the mechanics of downregulation. Let's look at the science of the biological brake. If cortisol is the gasoline, the parasympathetic nervous system is the fire extinguisher. Most modern humans have forgotten how to activate it. They are stuck in a sympathetic overdrive. To break this cycle, we must look at the vagus nerve, Latin for the wanderer. It is the longest and most complex of the cranial nerves. It exits the brainstem and wanders through your chest and abdomen. It touches your heart, your lungs, and your gut. It is the master regulator of the rest and digest response. The vagus nerve is a two-way street. 80% of its fibers are sensory, sending signals from the body back to the brain. This means you can use your body to hack your mind. The fastest, most scientifically validated way to do this is through your breath. Your lungs are the only part of your autonomic nervous system you can control. By changing the mechanics of your breathing, you change the chemistry of your blood. Enter the physiological sigh, a pattern of breathing discovered by ethologists and refined by modern neurobiology. It is the fastest way to lower your heart rate in under 30 seconds. The technique is surgical. Inhale deeply through your nose. Then, at the very top, take a second, shorter inhale to fully expand the lungs. Then, exhale slowly through your mouth until you are empty. Why does this work? Your lungs are made of millions of tiny sacs called alveoli. When you are stressed, these sacs collapse like a popped balloon. The second inhale reinflates those sacs. The long exhale offloads the CO2 more efficiently than any other method. The brain senses the chemical shift and signals the vagus nerve. The heart rate drops, the amygdala stands down. You have manually reset your nervous system, but breathing is just the first tool in the protocol. We must also discuss thermal loading, specifically, deliberate cold exposure. When you submerge your body in cold water, your system screams. It triggers a massive spike in adrenaline and norepinephrine. This sounds like more stress, but it is actually hormetic stress. Stress that makes you stronger. By forcing yourself to stay calm and breathe while in the cold, you are training a specific circuit, the top-down control circuit of the prefrontal cortex. You are teaching your CEO to remain in charge while the lizard brain panics. This resilience is not limited to the shower. It transfers to your bank account. It transfers to your difficult conversations. It transfers to your high-stakes decisions. Magnesium is the master relaxant of the nervous system. In a high cortisol state, your body flushes magnesium out through your urine. This creates a vicious cycle. Without magnesium, your neurons become hyperexcitable. They fire at the slightest provocation. You become irritable, twitchy, and prone to insomnia. Supplementing with magnesium glycinate or threonate is not a luxury. It is a requirement for a high-stress life. It allows the brain to transition into the delta wave state of deep sleep, the only state where the brain can truly repair the damage done by cortisol. And we must talk about the mammalian dive reflex. Splashing ice-cold water on your face and eyes for 30 seconds. This sends an immediate signal to the brainstem to slow the heart. It is a primitive override switch. Use it when the mental loop of anxiety won't stop. Physical tools are the foundation. But to truly master stress, you must change your operating system. You must build a fortress of the mind. Let's look at the unbreakable mindset. Tools are useless without a philosophy to guide them. The final piece of the cortisol protocol is the psychological framework. We must look to the ancient Stoics. They understood 2,000 years ago what we are only now proving in labs. Stress is rarely caused by what happens to us. Stress is caused by the story we tell ourselves about what happens. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." From a neurobiological perspective, this is the shift from reactive to proactive. High cortisol thrives in the gap between your expectations and your reality. When you try to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable, you leak energy. The news cycle, the opinions of strangers, the fluctuations of global markets. The protocol demands a neural audit. You must categorize every thought into two boxes. Box A, things I can control: my actions, my breath, my effort. Box B, things I cannot control: everything else. Any neural energy spent on Box B is a waste of your biological capital. It is a donation of your health to a cause that cannot pay you back. To protect your CEO brain, you must implement a low-information diet. The modern attention economy is built on negative bias. Your brain is evolved to pay 10x more attention to bad news than good news. The media knows this. They trigger your amygdala for profit. Every time you check the news just to be informed, you are paying with your cortisol. Cut the cord. Delete the apps that trigger the comparison trap. Your brain was not designed to see the curated highlights of 8 billion people. It was designed to focus on your tribe and your craft. Adopt the monk mode framework for your most important work. Deep work is not just a productivity hack. It is a mental health requirement. When you are in a state of flow, your cortisol drops. Your brain enters a neurochemical cocktail of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. This is the repair state. But you cannot reach flow if you are checking your phone every 6 minutes. It takes the brain an average of 23 minutes to fully recover from a single distraction. Most people spend their entire day in a state of attention residue. Their brain is never fully present, and thus, never fully calm. The protocol final checklist: 1. Start your day with a non-negotiable hour. Sunlight, hydration, movement. No digital inputs. 2. Use the physiological sigh whenever you feel the tightness in your chest. 3. Use deliberate cold exposure to train your mental top-down control. 4. Audit your concerns. If you can't influence it, ignore it. 5. Protect your sleep like your life depends on it, because it does. Remember, stress is not the enemy. Unregulated stress is the enemy. The bridge between who you are and who you want to become is made of discipline. But discipline requires a functioning brain. If you are constantly redlining your system, you will fail. Not because you aren't strong enough, but because you are human. Respect your biology, and it will reward you with mastery. Ignore your biology, and it will destroy your ambition. The protocol is now in your hands. Master your dopamine, protect your sleep, accelerate your learning, and now, dominate your stress. The world belongs to those who can remain calm while everyone else is panicking. Become the calm in the center of the storm. The session is over. The work begins now. See you in the next one.